Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terri Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko. Say hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics, because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This 4th of July week, since So You Think You Can Dance is on hold and the West Wing Weekly is taking its time and taking us into the 7th season, we are doing a special episode on the HBO series Big Little Lies. And to do that, we are welcoming a special guest, Nicole Eredics, the one member of our Parenting Roundabout team who actually faithfully watches this show.
I do.
Say hi, Nicole.
Hello.
So, Big Little Lies, Season 2, now starring Meryl Streep, is on HBO. I have not watched, I don't believe, a single episode of this enterprise, although I have read many articles about it. I read Alan Sepinwall's reviews. I hear people on podcasts talk about it, and I've read a number of amusing articles on it today in preparation for this. So tell me about it. How's it going? Y'all enjoying it? You watched the few episodes from this season, right, Catherine?
Yeah, so all three of us are coming at this from a different place because Terry's never seen any of it. I had read the book, and then last year Nicole and I had a little chat about it when the first season came out. And we sort of talked a little bit about the book, how the book and the series were similar and different, and then this year, I was able to watch the first 3 episodes of season 2. And I just jumped in. I didn't go back. I didn't have time to go back and watch the previous stuff. So I just started with the first 3 episodes of season 2, and I found that was fine. I was able to, it was no problem to follow along. And I enjoyed it. I think it's kind of crazy and campy, but the performances are so good. I mean, like, Laura Dern is cracking me up just from how ridiculous she is. She is the comic relief because she's just such a stereotypical, like, rich lady who literally shouts, "I will not be rich."
Don't we all feel that way?
Did you watch the last one with her daughter in counseling?
Yeah, with this crazy, like, counselor that was dressed up as Little Bo Peep. I do not understand what that was about.
Yeah.
Is that a California thing? Because it was very odd.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
So how do you feel it compares to last year, Nicole?
Well, obviously Meryl Streep is the driving force this year. And
yes.
She's the one that is really creating the sense of mysteriousness and uneasiness. She's the one that's building the tension. She's the one that's they have other characters. The other characters are building tension in their own ways, but she is the one that I find it's like I feel like she's kind of carrying the show at this point. The other women are just kind of they're slowly falling apart, I guess, is kind of the path that they're going to take. They're going to start to implode. So not much is really happening with them at this point because it's all about Meryl Streep making them implode.
And why not?
And
there's Meryl Streep.
So good.
There's so many characters. I mean, I feel like, I was watching one episode. I'm like, well, we haven't even really seen Laura Dern's character for a long time. They don't have time to get to everybody.
No. And so they're focusing a lot on Meryl Streep, and they're focusing a lot on Madeline's husband. I can't remember his name right now.
Adam Scott.
Ed. Played by Adam Scott.
Adam Scott, who is phenomenal too. I mean, he's an amazing actor as well. And he didn't have a lot to do in season 1. Like, he was kind of collateral damage in season 1. But yeah, he's really shining this season. The one where I'm not really enjoying is Zoe Kravitz's character. I mean, she's got her own personal inner turmoil going on, but there's just a lot of brooding.
Yeah.
Well, she's actually the one who killed the guy, right?
Yeah. No
Spoiler alert for a previous season.
Yeah. So she's doing a lot of, she herself is self-destructing, you know, but, kind of in an annoying, brooding way.
Brood less annoyingly, Zoe.
Madeline's just a mess. I don't feel sorry for her at all because she creates her own disasters.
Yes.
And Nicole Kidman's character, I kind of get where they're going with that because, you know, she's been a victim of domestic abuse, but she also still loves him. So I guess they're trying to address that whole kind of Stockholm Syndrome thing.
Right.
Yes.
And this is actually a question that I had about the first season, because in the book, I feel like she had actually moved out of the house.
She did, and now she's back.
So she did in the first series too. And because they're saying, you know, her husband found out about it like right before he died, and is that why he was beating her up at that point, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't remember if it exactly transpired quite that way in the book.
And there really wasn't any bridge as to why the mother-in-law moved in. I guess obviously to help her, but the season started off with the mother-in-law as part of their family and like helping.
She moved in because they had an opportunity to have Meryl Streep on the show.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
she wasn't going to come for a one-day visit and go home.
Because she's definitely she's the driving force and the central figure in this whole season.
And she and everyone just look like they're having the best time. They're like, this is the most fun job I've had.
It's like
years.
actress camp.
It is.
Yeah.
And they're like always on the beach or driving on these beautiful,
I know,
coastline roads.
Okay, just let me tell you, fun fact about those coastline roads.
Yeah.
Is, okay, one turn is fun, but it's a continuous, windy coastal road, and you end up with, like, car sickness at the end.
Yes.
Well,
and white knuckles.
As with every TV show that I watch, when people are in the car and they're, like, talking to each other or, changing the radio, or I'm like, oh my god, they're going to crash, they're going to crash, they're going to crash.
Yes.
And in fact, there was a crash in one of these episodes. Like, see, I knew that was going to happen.
Yes.
You're freaking me out. Stop it. Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I find, and I'm not too sure about Shailene Woodley's character at this point. I mean, once again, she's got a lot of her own turmoil that she's dealing with. I can't understand why they just don't come out and tell Meryl Streep that her son was, like, why can't Nicole Kidman just come out and say, look, this is what he did to me?
Well, I feel
didn't
like
she? I thought I saw in a review that she did, and then the Meryl Streep just said, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Well, she did, but it was like, it wasn't impactful. It was like, well, he did hurt me, or yeah, I take Vicodin for the pain. But it wasn't like, look, this is what your husband did to me.
Your son.
So nobody's really kind of addressed that, which is bugging me.
Yeah. Maybe they need to all gang together and tell her and then throw her off a cliff or whatever. What was it? Steps? Threw him down some steps?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm hanging on by a thread, though, seriously, this season. Because
really?
I tend to get bored very quickly of characters who just do the same thing over and over again. Like, I've given up on the Handmaid's Tale, which is a whole other story.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But go there.
I feel like this, it's literally hanging by a thread.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah. If the support...
Well, that brings us to the question that I always hear mentioned on all the podcasts and all the articles I read about this, which is, did we need this season?
Right.
Were you happy with the way it ended? Would you have been happy for them just to leave it alone? Or is getting to watch Meryl at actress camp worth all the other stuff?
Right.
I don't know, because I didn't watch the first one, so...
Yeah, what do you think, Nicole? Were you happy that it was coming back, or were you like, oh, really?
I was happy. I think I was more excited for the second season of Handmaid's Tale, but
which has let you down.
But now third season has let me down. Yeah, I was happy. I was kind of interested to see what would happen next, but all really what's happening is just Meryl's lurking around corners and, saying shady things and not believing what people tell her about her son. So there's not much else going on in that show right now.
Oh, well, maybe if nothing else, it'll be good for Adam Scott's career. You go, guy.
Yeah.
We can get behind that. And I shall continue to enjoy reading articles about it, which we will link to some of them in the show notes. So moving on to podcast business of our own, next week we'll be watching what we sincerely hope will be the last episode of Judges' Auditions on So You Think You Can Dance, because speaking of diminishing returns, what we will not be watching is The West Wing, because The West Wing Weekly is taking a week off, as they so like to do. So we will satisfy our Alan Alda cravings and also celebrate the unlikely renewal of One Day at a Time, yay, with the 4 seasons, the 1981 movie that starred both Alan Alda and Rita Moreno, along with Carol Burnett and many other familiar faces. We're going to try to get this from our libraries, which seems to be the only way to find it if you don't have some sort of premium stars thing that I obviously don't. If we fail to get a hold of it in time to watch it and talk about it, we will mention on Twitter what our fallback is going to be. And that's going to be it for our Round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye, Terry.
Goodbye, Nicole.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Meryl. Goodbye, everybody.